Hey everybody, hoping this is actually going to work. Hopefully it is working. If you guys can see it, please let me know. Zoom is not working right now from where I'm at, so to make sure this does not happen anymore, I'm going to record the next 7 days of trainings and make sure I have them up, and then if I can go completely live, I absolutely will. This way, everybody can get to see this regardless, so I'm really sorry Zoom is not working right now. As you can see, I'm actually in Paris right now. So speaking of manifesting your dream life, I don't know if you can see, I'm actually up in Paris right now, which is unbelievable. So I want to make sure that I teach you guys, again, yesterday's training, because of getting in late with plans and things, I wasn't able to do, but today, so I'm going to do a little bit of both today. So I'd love to hear from everybody if you have been doing your future journaling. That's one of the things I would love to hear about. So if you have been doing your future journaling, what does that look like? How does it feel in the morning when you do that? How does that what does that look like? Oh, hi Liz, hi Rachel. Thank you so much for being here on the group. Again, I'm so sorry, Zoom is not working. It was working earlier today and I went to log in right now and it said I have to do an update. Of course, not being on the network right now, I cannot do much of an update. But as you guys can see, I am in Paris right now. I'm in Saint Germain. So if that's a goal for you guys, I will happily take plenty of pictures if you want that and use that for one of your boards, your Dreamcatcher board. So let's talk about, so we started on Monday talking about, the reality that we do deserve anything we desire, and that most of us have been taught that there's something inherently better about other people than there is about us individually. And we know that that's not true because everything in the world is made of exactly the same thing. They're particles, and particles are basically, sorry, you're going to hear some scooters going by, the Lego blocks of the universe. So they snap together in all kinds of different ways. It doesn't matter. They literally have nothing on top of them. It's our own impressions that put things on top of them. So at the particle level, and this is the crazy thing, you guys, there's no race, there's no religion, there's no sexual orientation, there's nothing. They're just particles. How they come into being has everything to do with our consciousness. And then one of the things I talk about is our worth, us putting our own sense of worth on anything that we have in our life. So one of the things that happens, okay, when we see something that we truly, truly desire, we want, we're going around in the world, we see something amazing, you walk by, let's say a house that you dream of owning. One of the first things you might say is something like, oh, but I'll never be able to get that. I'll never be able to afford that. And inherent in that, just like I was talking about on Monday, is that sense of value. We are immediately valuing ourselves as less than that which we want, okay? But if you look at all the celebrities in the universe, all the celebrities have done all kinds of crazy things to become celebrities. A lot of those people are in fact living lives that doesn't seem really possible. I was actually just at the Musée d'Orsay today, and they were talking about how Van Gogh, for instance, or most of the artists that were out there really didn't have a sense of what actually the value of anything that they did was. There were very few that were particularly successful in their lifetime. Now, of course, they sell for millions and millions of dollars. So what's the difference between a Van Gogh painting where he couldn't sell any of his paintings? And I did not realize this, for instance, all three of his relatives were actually art dealers. His mom, his dad, and his brother were all art dealers, and they were trying to sell his paintings and they couldn't. And now his paintings, right? So what's the difference? It's about the value we've put on that. And that could change overnight. Like something could come out about Van Gogh that was really, really negative and it would drop the value of his paintings. The same thing is true if you think about the stock market. The stock market is probably one of the most specific ways we as a society have this sort of up and down that are really, the value of something is the same today as it is tomorrow, but it depends on people get fear, right? We get fear, we get like the mass media, we get this fear thing, and suddenly a stock will plummet, and then the next day it'll come like back up. This is all due to our perception. It's due to our collective conscious. It's due to just all of these kinds of factors that are very, very emotional. Notice there's not anything inherently different about it the day before. Like a stock might be worth $1, and the next day it's worth $137 a share, and that's a windfall, but there wasn't anything inherently different. There goes a scooter. So there isn't anything inherently different between those two things. So there's some practices I want you to start putting in place that have to do with this and will really help you dramatically if you start to use them. So one practice that I'd like you to do, take a picture of yourself that you love. So if you are a person who just doesn't love pictures of yourself, that's fine. You don't have to use an actual picture of yourself. You could go like Prince and become a symbol and choose a symbol you really love that represents you. And you want to take that picture or that symbol and you're going to put it in the middle of a poster board. Or, Rachel, I know you might use it on an app, which is totally fine. You can design this in an app. There's all kinds of apps. You could use something as simple as Pages or Word document, place a picture there and start creating this around it. The main thing that you want to do is you want to actually take that picture and then I want you to find 5 or 6 things that you really desire. So you've been hopefully working on your dream catcher board. If you haven't, that's totally fine. Again, that's just there for you as an additional thing that you can use. But you can take pictures of a few things, 5 or 6 things that you really, really, really in your heart of hearts desire, okay? And I want you to take pictures of those and put them all around your image, okay? So you're gonna put them all the way around. And in between yourself and your image, I want you to put an equal sign, okay? And what you're gonna be doing is each time you look at this, you're literally gonna be saying, I am equal to. So there's a reason I do this. Instead of I am worthy of is absolutely great. Highly recommend it. You can definitely use the I am worthy. That because there's like such an attachment to self-worth and it can be a really negative feeling, so that word worth can be very triggering for a lot of people. So I prefer to like remove that word and instead do I am equal to this thing I desire. I am equal to this beautiful car. I am equal to this beautiful house or whatever it is that you want. I can tell you that I just had some people that are going through my practitioner certification. And one of them started this practice. She was trying to get actually like a BMW, something, I don't know. I actually love cars, but I don't remember what kind it was. Anyways, she lives in England and she was not, in fact, she said she looked all over and there wasn't even one of them, whatever this particular car was, there wasn't even one in England for her to buy. Not at all when we started. And so we did this practice, okay? And she started the I am equal to. And part of what she started envisioning was that somehow it would be easy for her to find this car, okay? So along with that, add in the visualization, add in some things that make you feel like the emotion of equality or being equal to it. And so she started doing that. About 4 months into doing this practice of I am equal to this, she announced on our call that day that she had just purchased this car. And someone out of the blue in her community happened to have this car. She happened to see it posted. She saw it the second it went up. It was a price she could afford. And she was able to lock this thing down and it was sitting in her garage right then and there. So that's the power of shifting yourself to believing that you're just not even just worthy of it, but equal to it. Again, if worthy is not a huge trigger word for you, you can absolutely say, I am worthy of this, okay? So that's one exercise I would like you to do pretty much immediately. Again, you can do it if you want to as an app on your phone, totally fine. You can make it a Pinterest board and basically, use it when you're looking at the Pinterest board. I would say it's important to only share these thoughts and dreams and like what you're working on with this, with people that you 120% know that they are going to support you. Otherwise, do it in silence. Do this in silence, because there's so many times that we have been told that we are not going to have what we desire because of this, because, oh, you grew up this way. Nobody from this area ever makes it. Oh, you have this. Oh, you look like that. You're never going to make it as this or that, okay? We've been told this over and over again. A lot of times from people in our life that supposedly love us. We'll talk about that later in station 1 and 2. But that can really put a damper on being able to expand in the ways that you genuinely desire. So do not tell that to anybody unless you are 100. If you've got somebody or you want to have somebody in the group that helps you stay accountable with this, post it in there and let's that's really what the group's about. Feel free to post any of this in the group, and we will 100% support you at all times. So anytime you start, because you're going to have that moment where you feel like, oh God, this isn't coming together. Happens to everybody, happens to me, and you need that support. And I'm right there for you on that support, and other people in this group will be. So that's going to lead me to my second practice that's going to be really important to clear some of this junk out. So I want you to sit down, and this one can be a little bit hard, so just be prepared for it. I want you to sit down and actually write out the times in your life that you were told that you weren't worthy of something you desired, or that it wasn't going to happen. Even in subtle ways, you know, sometimes we can get the eye rolls or the looks of disdain or the looks of credulity in these kinds of moments, okay? So I'd like you to actually write down those times. Okay, I want you to actually take a look at them. What were the words they used? And then what I want you to do is pay attention. So let's say you're working on this and you think to yourself as you're going out in the world and you see things that you want, instead of being like, I'll never get this, or that's too expensive, or whatever it is that you might be thinking. Instead, you start getting into this practice and you're saying, you know, I am equal to that. I deserve that. It's the same exact thing as me. It's exactly the same as me. Okay. Now I want you to notice when you start to do that, if doubts come up. And a lot of times those doubts do come up. And when we, especially, oh, there goes a scooter again, especially, they love their scooters, especially when you're making big changes like this, okay? Those doubts will start to, and we want them to. We want them to come flying out of the closet, because if they stay in the closet, they're just going to cause you issues. I want them to come out of the closet. We want to look at them, and we want to let them go. So when they start to come out of the closet, I'd like you to pay attention to them. So a good way to do that is, if you start to feel a doubt as you say that, to actually either write it down individually. If you have a little notebook, you can write it in. Or again, you know, we all have our voice notes. We've all got our phones with us at all times. I use my voice notes so often because it does help me to remember these kinds of things. And you can actually say it into the voice notes. Voice notes can also be helpful. Well, either is going to work perfect, but voice notes can be helpful because sometimes when you play them back, the words you use, you can really hear who in your life taught you that was true. Okay. So the next thing you want to do, so that's, you're going to know. So I would like you to pay attention. Just if you happen to say it or out loud and you realize these doubts, pay attention to who it was that said it to you. Okay. Now, they're the ones who have helped teach you what your worth is. The final thing I want you to do, and this can be difficult, and let me just explain, you do not actually have to go to full forgiveness for this to work. So there's a lot of things that can happen to us in life that teach us that we are less than. And a lot of times those can be through difficult, traumatic events, people in our lives who, for whatever reason, sometimes they were jealous and wanted to put us down for whatever reason, or stop us in our tracks for whatever reason. There's a lot of different things that can happen, and they have literally nothing to do with us as human beings, but we take them on and we believe that they do. They're usually about someone else's issues, unfortunately. And so as you go through this process, you might find that you've had quite a few of these. Unfortunately, I work all the time with people who had really rough childhoods because of really rough parents. And you know, you've got to be able to deprogram those things, and they can cut very deep, because our parents are supposed to be the ones that love us and support us and tell us go get them for everything, and a lot of times they don't. So the thing is to be able to kind of move forward. And the next principle, which I'm super excited to talk about, you are literally going to realize that you have everything in you to be able to make this happen right now. Like, everything you could possibly want or need is there. You've already got it. You're already connected to it. So, however, releasing it is really important. So what you want to do is actually take some time and take a look at the ones that are the most difficult for you. So if you do have maybe a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa, or sibling that put you down a lot, or was very harmful to you, very difficult with you, very even abusive, and that you realize that those are the words you use to like stop yourself in your tracks, or to tell yourself that you're not worthy of things. I want you to actually sit down. It's a good thing to do at night, because you can like really release and let go. And you can actually look at each person. You can actually write down each person's name, write down the statement they said to you, however that's going to work for you. take a look at it and say, literally look at that person's name and say, I can see that you gave me a false sense of my worth. And I now forgive you. I forgive myself for believing it. Again, even if this is a very bad person in your life, I do not believe that you necessarily have to fully forgive, okay, for this to work. You're literally just trying to say, I'm forgiving this part of it. I'm releasing this part of it because I'm not going to let this keep holding me back. There's that saying that not forgiving something, I don't think I'm going to say this right, is like preparing poison for your enemy and drinking it yourself, right? And so the idea is the more that we hold it onto it for ourselves, the more it poisons us in being able to accomplish what we really desire in this world. And I don't want that. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. So even if you can't get to full forgiveness, it's okay. It's really about that point of like speaking this out and saying, I'm releasing it. I'm not letting this hold me back anymore. I'm not letting this poison me anymore. Okay. And so you can literally say, and then you just literally say, I release this. I can see that. You can even say out loud, like, I can see this was your issue. I'm no longer judging my value based on your needs. We're going to talk in the next couple of classes, trainings, about how important it is that we have our own values and our own perceptions and our own expectations, because those are the things that are driving what you get in your life. So this little process I'm giving you right now is about clearing out a bunch of this and turning down the volume of any negative ones that you feel that are in there. Okay, so we're just kind of like cleaning house a little bit before we get to like, okay, we got to clear this out, and we got to put all your most positive expectations about yourself and perceptions about yourself front and center. So that's what we're building on here. So as I say, you want to take a look at it. Look at the ones that are most problematic for you. Look at the people in your life that are most problematic. You could even look at them and say, one of the things that helped me when I was doing some of this clearing out process, honestly, was I took a look and I thought to myself, do I actually even value this person's opinion? Do I value this person's opinion that I have been basing my own self-worth on? Or that I've been holding myself back and not taking these radical actions I need to take to be able to grow the life of my dreams? Do I even value this person's opinion? We don't ever stop and even think about it. We just take these things in and we think, oh, and we suddenly are judging ourselves through this crap that isn't even something we value. And a lot of times these people, you will have people in your life that you're suddenly scurrying around and you believe their opinions of you. And when you sit down and think about it, you think, they don't even manage their life well, right? So why am I basing my judgment of myself upon something that, like, I wouldn't even ask their advice for stuff? Like, what am I thinking? I don't want my life to be like that, and I don't even value this, right? And so that's a good way. So you can literally say, I forgive you and I forgive myself for taking this on, because again, you could not possibly have taken it on through anything other. Especially if you were a child, we just soak it in. We don't even know. You know, this process will teach you to be very conscious of making sure you're sort of clearing what you actually take on board at a subconscious level, because it literally is creating what you experience in your world. But as a child, you don't have that. You know, there's no filter. You don't know any authority in your figure in your life is going to be able to convince you of what is real and what's not. Okay. So I forgive you, I forgive myself for believing this, and I now see, you know, this was your issue, and I release it. So those are the things that I would like to see you do today, or start doing today. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about some really cool stuff around the energy of this, and around, as I say, having literally every single thing in your body. You are already completely so able and so connected to everything you want in this world. It's literally inside you right now. So we're going to talk about the science of that, of like, how is that true? Because once you believe that, then you realize there's nothing in this world you can't do. And the only thing holding you back is maybe some crap subconscious beliefs you don't want. And those are the things we're getting rid of. There goes scooters again. Sorry about this being noisy. So that's going to be tomorrow and the next few days. And we're going to have some really, really cool exercises. So I'm going to post these exercises I just talked about also in the group so that you have it. They will also be posted after this in the portal in the membership portal. And so you'll be able to access those there as well. I would love for you guys, if you're willing to, I would love for you guys to post and tell me, how is the future journaling going? Have you done your great dream catcher? And then I would absolutely love, as you're going through this particular process, I'd love for you to tell me how that process was for you. So the last thing I would like to leave you with, because I'm going to try to keep these trainings about 20 minutes to the best of my ability, although I'm going over already, is I would like you to think about the fact. I always like to tell people, you are the antique stealer of your life. And what I mean by that is, we've all watched, if you've ever watched Antiques Roadshow, which I absolutely used to love, and these people would walk in, like with a chair, let's say, and this chair was a chair that they sat on for, I don't know, generations, and it's the most just normal looking chair you can even imagine, with no like carving or no like beautiful whatever. And they come in and suddenly they think this chair is maybe worth like $5. And suddenly they go in and they have these antique dealers like swooning over this thing, right? Oh my God, it was like, I don't know, Napoleon sat upon this chair, and then, so did George Washington and like 12 other famous people or whatever it is. And suddenly they find out this $5 chair is worth $100,000, right? It's the same chair. It's the value that somebody put on it right that day. Okay? And the same thing is true of anything in your life right now. You are literally the antique stealer of your life. You put the value of anything you want in your life. You set it. You set your own value as equal to that. You get to do that. And you're the person in charge of doing that. And if you have any doubt at all, you post in the group. I am there. I will be there cheering you on. I will lift you up and make sure you see this about yourself. It's probably one of my favorite things to do, because I believe this so wholeheartedly, and I want every single one of you to see this in yourself too. All right, so I will sign off for now. I hope this wasn't too horribly noisy. We went to the Musée d'Orsay, and then we were on our way back, and I'm like, I am not going to make it all the way back to the apartment for the call. We were walking as fast as we could, but my little 6-year-old, going to be 7 tomorrow, she only walks so fast. So I was like, I dropped them at a bistro, and I'm like, I'm going to go dive down an alley and try to do this from there. So thank you so much. Hopefully I'll have this Zoom issue. I'll tell you what, I thought the technology would be so smooth, and I just practiced it earlier and it went perfect. And now they're telling me they need an update and I can't do it from here. So, I think that's everything. If anybody has any questions or comments, I don't know if I can see comments here. Not sure. Okay. But if anybody has any questions or comments, please let me know. I would love to hear from you guys, and I'm going to post a few more things in the group, including these exercises I just gave you. Again, they're really easy, but they're super meaningful. And if you can bring them into your day-to-day life, so if you're going out to like lunch with someone that you know is going to be super judgmental of you, one, don't tell them you're making these major changes to your life. Just don't tell them. And two, if they give you an opinion that you don't want, you can literally say to yourself, that is an opinion. They don't get to set my worth. They don't get to set what I think about myself. I have all the particles I need to be able to do this, and I'm setting those particles worth at priceless, okay? So that's where we start to shift the way those things happen, and those interactions don't affect us and bring us down quite as much as they used to. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope it wasn't too horribly loud on this alley. And as I said, I'm going to also pre-record all the next ones so that even if some glitch happens,